There are some great features about this bike that I will miss when it's gone. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. If you haven't done it yet, do that thing down below. Now, I am in the process of transitioning away from this bike. I wanted to get just some last videos put together on it before it is gone. The process is probably going to take about 3 or 4 months, but I wanted to get this done now while I still have the bike. And I know that when this bike is gone, there are going to be a handful of features about this bike that I will miss. I don't know how much I'll miss those, but there are some that I thought I would talk about that's actually making me pause a little bit about getting rid of it. Not enough to not do that, but definitely some things that I will miss. One of the things I will really miss is the electronic cruise control. I have really enjoyed having that on this bike, for it to have the ability to adjust the speed up and down as I'm traveling. It just makes traveling a little bit more relaxed. For long distance, chunking out miles, I can just set the cruise and basically just kick back and let the bike take me. It's not as engaging when I do that as far as being a part of the ride, but when I've done really long days, it's made it a lot easier. So I will miss that part of this bike. I don't think I'll be getting a bike that will have cruise control, so we'll see where it goes from there, but that is one thing I will miss. While I'm still sitting up here, one of the things that I will absolutely miss about this bike is the weather protection that I've gotten from this, the wind protection. I have a quite large screen on here. Definitely gets the wind up over my helmet and makes it much more comfortable to ride, especially in really, really bad weather conditions. Even when it's cold, it keeps some of that cold air off of me. The bike is wide, so I will miss that part of it. I don't think I will be going to a bike. I know it's not going to be this big, and so I will lose some of those comforts by transitioning to a different bike. Some of the other things I'm going to miss about this bike is the quick shifter. I like the quick shifter. I get to be kind of lazy riding it and just flipping up and down the gears and not having to clutch. Saves the clutch too, because you're not using it all the time and putting additional wear on it. So I like that. I will miss that. Another thing that I will miss about this bike is the rider modes. I like the rider modes. I like having the rider assist type stuff, the traction control, things like that. I don't know if the next bike that I'm gonna get is gonna have those things, but I do actually like that part of it. I like that I can change the throttle mapping depending on the conditions, especially the rain mode. I have the throttle where it's really calm and relaxed, so I don't have to worry about breaking the rear tire loose. And then I've got the dynamic mode where if I'm really wanting to do some canyon carving and have a lot more throttle response, I have that ability. So I don't expect to have that on the next bike that I go to. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I will miss that. One of the other things I will miss about this bike, and something that you as subscribers and viewers don't know, is that I've done a lot of two-up riding. None of the two-up riding I've done has made it to my channel. I'd made the decision not to put any of that on here. I didn't want to have all of that stuff that I did. It's more complicated when I'm riding with somebody else to film and do all that. It just takes a lot more work, and it can interrupt trips and doing that riding. So I have not done any of that, but out of the 42,000 plus miles I have on this bike, at least 10,000 of those over the last probably 2 years have been riding two up. So I enjoyed the horsepower for doing that, so that when we had all of our gear on here, riding two up and doing all that, I had plenty of horsepower to do whatever I wanted to from a riding standpoint. So I will miss that from that standpoint. I just don't know how much more two up riding I'll be doing coming up in the future. So I will miss it, but I don't know how much I'll miss it going forward. Like many of you out there, I was inspired to get out and start doing bigger rides and a lot more riding and camping and all that, because I watched Long Way Round and Long Way Down, and it spoke to me. And it was the type of thing that I wanted to combine. I enjoyed riding motorcycles, I enjoyed camping, but prior to that, I'd only done it a handful of times. It wasn't as deeply ingrained in me as it is now. That certainly influenced, that show certainly influenced my decision to buy this bike. Seeing what they did on those bikes, riding them around, just getting caught up in it and wanting to be a part of that led me to purchasing this bike. And with that, I have no regrets in doing that. I think once I got this bike, the amount of riding I did went up exponentially. I went from riding around 3,000 to 4,000 miles a year to 10,000, 15, 20,000 miles a year. So it was a huge jump. And I have to say that it's likely because of getting this bike and what this did for me and getting a new experience and enjoying it more. And if you're gonna spend a lot of money on a bike, you better use it. So that also motivated me to get out. So with all that, there are definitely some things I will miss. I don't think it's enough I don't think the things that I will miss is enough for me to keep this bike because of all the reasons that I have that it's time to move on. But these bikes, they do have their place. It's just unfortunately not in my garage anymore. So let me know what you think. If you have one of these bikes, what are the key things that you cannot live without that this bike offers that you couldn't find anywhere else, or that you would want because it comes with premium bikes? And if you don't have one of these bikes and you're watching this thinking, well, maybe I would want one of these or would consider buying one because of some of the features I've talked about, let me know about that in the comments below as well. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. Get out, do some riding, ride safe, and I will see you out there.